Opening. This is the story of how a simple sandwich nearly ended a friendship between two Cold War superpowers. Yes, you heard that right. A sandwich. Stay with me for this little-known tale in history that's equal parts strange, daring, and delicious. Scene transition. The year was 1971. The Cold War was in full swing, and the Iron Curtain divided Europe. On one side, you had the NATO nations, and on the other, the Eastern Bloc. Among the figures working quietly in the shadows of history was an engineer named Stanislav Dobromil. An ordinary factory worker in Bratislava, under the then communist regime of Czechoslovakia, Dobromil led a double life that no one in his village suspected. Because, let me explain, Dobromil didn't deal in arms, intelligence, or contraband technology. No, Stanislav Dobromil smuggled sandwiches. And not just any sandwiches, but the American peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Hard to believe Europe had to live without peanut butter for a long time, right? Historical context. You see, in communist Czechoslovakia, imported Western foods were strictly forbidden. Products from the United States, such as peanut butter, weren't just unavailable. They were a symbol of Western decadence, as far as the authorities were concerned. But Stanislav Dobromil didn't see it that way. Ever since a brief visit to his cousin in Vienna, a taste of peanut butter ignited something within him, possibly a craving as much as a small rebellion, the spark of the smuggling operation. And so, Dobromil decided to bring peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to his homeland. Now, let's not underestimate the risk here. If caught smuggling anything into Czechoslovakia from the West, let alone a product of American cultural notoriety, Dobromil risked imprisonment, interrogation, and public shaming as an enemy of the people. But none of this stopped him. After all, Dobromil firmly believed these sandwiches were more than they appeared on the surface. To him, they symbolized Western freedom, choices, even hope. So began his improbable, clandestine sandwich operation. Action scene. Here's how the operation went down. Stanislav would disguise himself as an innocent tourist headed to Vienna, where he had his peanut butter supplier, a small, family-run shop, which probably had no idea they served such an important purpose. Once equipped with several large jars of peanut butter, jelly, and pre-sliced bread, Dobromil did what could only be described as a culinary covert operation. He would assemble sandwiches in his suitcase and carefully layer them between decoy clothes, so the sandwiches wouldn't be crushed during border checks. Now, you may ask, how did he deal with the border crossings? Well, Dobromil was incredibly clever. Communists loved bureaucracy, so he adopted their love of excessive paperwork. To that end, he would keep carefully forged receipts for every legal possession of his and fabricate an elaborate cover story about visiting foreign bookstores or attending official cultural events in Vienna. He would chat his way through customs, sweating bullets, all the while knowing that at any moment, his stash of peanut buttery goodness could get him labeled as a Western propagandist. Scandal at the border. On one fateful occasion, though, his luck nearly ran out. Just days before Christmas of 1971, Dobromil miscalculated that the tightened pre-holiday security at the border might cause issues. As a stern-faced guard began rooting through his suitcase, he felt sure his operation had ended. But fate had other plans. The guard pulled out half a sandwich and stared blankly. To his surprise, it wasn't confiscated, but instead mistaken for foreign workers' lunch supply documentation, which had overwritten the threats. Transition to impact. Over time, Dobromil's sandwiches became more than a symbolic act of defiance. News about his culinary indulgence spread locally in secrets. Written leaflets dubbed giveaways had slogans, P. Unknown Taste. His became celebrities' only quarter-symbolic autumn Saturday adventure realities. Mostly,